Hey all, this is 012 Boku coming back at you with another movie in the spoiler zone. Spoiler zone. The spoiler zone. Yes, the spoiler zone. And that is where we are again, and I'm just going to start off. Sorry that, as you can see, it is late in the day. I wanted to get this done with as much natural light as possible, but I've had issues today, such as not having any water right now, which friggin' sucks, and, did my weeds and a whole bunch of other things. It's not been the greatest week for me, guys, but either way, we will continue on. But we are doing well, I don't know if you can see that, but if you can, there you go, probably can see that. As you can see by the wording, Volcano. Yes, Tommy Lee Jones's Volcano. Actually, I just realized, if I don't get that pretty near close, you can actually see it better from here. So, Volcano, Tommy Lee Jones's Volcano. That. I'm going to do one more thing, so I probably will edit this part out. Give me one, guys. Having that light on there does not help too much. I was trying to see if that light up there would help, but it's shining right in your guys' eyes. I do not want to do that to you. Do not want to do that at all. But as you know, we are doing Volcano, and super excited about it. It is a fun disaster movie that was made in 97. 97 was almost the year of Tommy Lee Jones. Tommy Lee Jones was in quite a lot of movies in 97. I know he was in a couple more, but Men in Black probably being the biggest volcano here. And I know there were a few others. Tommy Lee Jones is in a lot of stuff in the mid and late 90s. He was used a lot during this time, but he stars in this movie Volcano, which starts off with showing the city of Los Angeles and a coming danger. We then see Mike Rourke, who is at home trying to take care of his daughter. He and his wife are divorced, and he's taking care of his daughter. It's the weekend for his daughter to be visiting him. He's trying to do nice things for her, but he gets called into work where there's couple instances going on, and of course there have been earthquakes. There was an earthquake at home that felt around Los Angeles, and people betting on it, people just acting all crazy. It's California. Earthquakes can be common in California, so some of them are acting like it's no big deal. Mike Rourke is just going through the motions. We then have a character played by Anne Heche, who is named, boy, I forgot her. What's the character's name? Let's pull up the cast here again. Oh, yes, Dr. Amy Barnes. So Anne Heche plays Dr. Amy Barnes, who basically found the epicenter of that quake. It was near a subway tunnel, a Red Line subway tunnel. She and a partner of hers wants to go investigate. Her and her friend Flash / Rachel. Rachel, her friend. Amy and Rachel wanted to go investigate this. Rourke wouldn't allow it, so Mike Rourke gets his friend. He and his friend Gator, played by Michael Rispoli, to go investigate it. They run into danger down there. It seems like there's a leaky gas line or something big going on. They found like the whole tub and tunnel was burnt up. Oh yeah, there were some construction workers down there earlier that got killed, so Rourke didn't want to do anything about it. So he was calling it off. He goes home, calls it a day, everything continues. He doesn't shut down the subways or anything. All of a sudden, Amy and Rachel go down there. They try to figure out stuff. Like Amy and Rachel are taking samples. All of a sudden, a gas pocket comes up, engulfs Rachel, killing her. Amy tried to help but couldn't. Amy realizes that, shoot, this is almost like volcanic activity. All of a sudden, all hell breaks loose in Los Angeles. You have like one giant earthquake that happens, causes havoc, cuts power across the entire city, traps a subway tunnel in the red line where the lava flow was going to come from. And then, you know, you have Mike Rourke taking his daughter into work. There's news reporters, you know, reporting on this. And then in an awesome scene with build-up where music and dialogue and everything cuts, you just hear this high-pitched whine start, and then boom, and then the La Brea tar pits blow, and there is a volcano in the middle of Los Angeles, and all hell breaks loose there. You know, people are losing their houses. There's lava in the L line where one of the main guys to run the L line, his name was Stan Olber, played by John Carroll Lynch. He tries to go down there to find out what happens to the train. They do find out what happened to the train. People got stranded. They save the people. But the lava starts coming up to the train, engulfing the train. Stan goes back for the driver, saves the driver of the train while sacrificing himself in a very sad, huge scene. And, you know, with that side plot, you know, done, you have Mike Rourke and the rest of the Los Angeles Police Department, Amy Barnes, and everybody else trying to just, you know, save the city. And on a side note here, he has a partner working with him because Mike Rourke works for a city-wide protection company where they get things together and coordinate with all the rescue, police, and fire. And it's called OCP. And his friend helping him out there is Emmett Reese, played by a very young Cheadle in this movie. And Emmett Reese is helping Rourke command things from the OCP offices. So Emmett Reese is like some of Rourke's biggest backup in this movie too, besides Dr. Amy Barnes. And, you know, Mike Rourke does what he can. You know, he's working with the fire department, with the cops. One of his biggest cop allies in this film is played by Keith David, who plays Police Lieutenant Ed Fox. And, you know, it's a awesome little role for Keith David. And, you know, you have Mike Rourke working together with them to stop this thing. They put up basically a bunch of concrete girders down, and they also put down buses to block the lava flow, which eventually works, and they get all the water together to freeze up the lava and cool it down to stop it from spreading and destroying more in Los Angeles. And at one point, and this will come up later in the film, you know, like Ed Fox says, you know, why don't we just knock down some empty buildings and block the son of, you know, why don't we knock down some empty buildings and block the son of a bitch? Huh? Why don't we try that? You know, and it's like, he comes up with that idea, and, you know, after they have this, they think they have the lava flow stopped, and then all of a sudden, you know, Amy went to check out something. Amy calls Rourke to the Red Line subway tunnel, and they find out that the main source of the lava is flowing through the subway tunnel, so they realize that there's trouble. And what happens is all the injured people were getting sent over to the Hollywood Hills Beverly Center, which is a mall area and a real hot spot in Los Angeles where people go shopping and see movies and do cool stuff at restaurants. And Mike Rourke sent them there because he thought that, you know, that was near Cedars-Sinai Hospital and that was the safest place for everybody. And now that was the place where the lava flow was going to erupt. So, you know, you have Mike Rourke working together with the police and the people again, and they start to do what they can to knock down, like Rourke literally takes Ed Fox's idea when he's confused and he's running out of ideas about how to stop this lava, because they said there was no way to stop it from punching through at the Beverly Center. You know, it was going to erupt again there. And eventually, what they do is they knock the buildings down. The lava flow erupts, and they use the buildings to channel the lava into one of the California river moats. They put it in there, you know, the concrete moats we see in Los Angeles. They put it in that, and then the lava goes straight into the ocean to where it can, you know, solidify and you know, so they basically worked together greatly to avoid disaster. There was also an awesome part where, as the buildings were coming down, Mike Rourke had to save his daughter because his daughter who was at the Beverly Center who got injured in an earlier scene, was trying to protect this little kid who got away from her named Tommy. And, there was that cool scene and a cool moment. And, I mean, it's a ridiculous movie, but it is a very, very fun movie. I will have a couple people a note, and sadly, one of them, I will just say right now, is not Anne Heche, played by Dr. Amy Barnes. Oh, yeah, and I mentioned Mike Rourke's daughter. That's Kelly Rourke. She's played by Gabby Hoffman. If you guys also know, Gabby Hoffman was also in Mrs. Doubtfire, if you guys remember that too. And thing of note here is Tommy Lee Jones as Mike Rourke is. I mean, it was a great role for him. He was awesome. Great heroine. Tommy Lee Jones brings a lot of fun in this movie. A lot of just cool zip and zazz. A lot of dry humor, which is awesome in this disaster film, making it all the more fun and, fun to watch the disaster impede. Because, there's a part which I love, where Rourke's trying to get everybody to come together, and he's like, hey, why don't we try to build something to block this, like a cul-de-sac, like an edge. And then they're all staring at him like, huh? What? A cul-de-sac? An edge? Fuck. We're gonna do this, and they got 2 F words in this PG-13 movie. One with the guy on the ladder when he's burning, and Amy Barnes and Mike Rourke are hanging on to it before they fall, and one where he's trying to explain to the guys what a cul-de-sac is. And it was great. And Tommy Lee Jones is just awesome in this movie. Also, I have to say, Don Cheadle, who plays Emmett Reese, was fun. Another character who had a lot of heart in this movie. Was a real fun character. He and Mike Rourke, Tommy Lee Jones, and Don Cheadle, they joked off each other really well in this movie. Worked really good. It was fun to see these guys in here. Oh yeah, and there's a cameo role with Richard Schiff, who plays Haskins in this movie. So he was in Volcano and The Lost World Jurassic Park. That is awesome to me. Also, I would note Lieutenant Ed Fox, again played by Keith David, was a fun role for him to have. He was just a fun character to see in this movie. Came in near the middle of the movie, and he was there to the end. He was basically a sort of the last minute added ally to Mike Rourke, and was cool for him to have. And he helped coordinate, the blowing up of the buildings to knock them over to stop the lava flow and everything. But it was a nice little role for Keith David to have. And I think this was probably my first movie that I ever saw Keith David in. So I have to say it was real awesome seeing Keith David in this movie, because this movie got me into Keith David. At the time, I didn't know Keith David was voicing Goliath and a couple other characters. I hadn't seen The Thing yet or anything, so this was just an awesome role to see Keith David in. And it was really cool to just have them be in this movie. So those are a few people of note that I wanted to get off my chest and just see on. And I will give you guys let's see, some reviews here, and this is from Rotten Tomatoes, and they were not good. A 49% for critics, a 32% for audience. I guess I can understand. Dante's Peak is the more superior film. Dante's Peak is the superior film. I mean, it is by far, but Volcano is a fun, awesome movie. I can't hate on it. It's ridiculous. It's fun. I love it to death. It's one of those stupid popcorn movies you can always enjoy, in my opinion. Pretty good length too, 1 hour and 42 minutes, good stuff there. But this was the critic consensus, and I quote, "Volcano's prodigious pyrotechnics and Tommy Lee Jones's crotchety steers of lava aren't quite enough to save this routine disaster film." I could sort of see that, but yeah, quite harsh with Tommy Lee Jones's crotchety sneers trying to stop lava. I didn't look at that at all, but I looked at it as trying to do this impossible situation to stop this thing. But hey, there's one rotten comment on here, which I think there is. Oh yeah, it was another one. They mentioned, I think it was mentioned how, like, I'll mention it really quick. This one rotten comment that I was browsing through said, that, Tommy Lee Jones and, Tommy Lee, or maybe it's one of these here. Let me see here. But I'll start with the negative comment. It's from March 26th, 2009, and it's from Todd McCarthy of Variety. Never generates ahead of true excitement, partly because the characters remain constructs designed to perform defined functions, partly due to time-worn hokiness of the whole disaster film format. As much as I want to tear that apart, I have to agree, because Volcano is very point A to point B. The side characters really don't have that much structure. There's some side story they put in there, which never really is that important. Doesn't really seem to be. I mean, it's about having these people survive and Mike Rourke trying to save them all. I mean, I guess this movie didn't need as many main characters. Like, I wouldn't have made John Corbett a main character. I would have just had I think her name is Jacqueline. Yeah, let's see. Hold on, where's the cast? Yeah, Jacqueline Kim, who played Dr. J. Calder. She was married to Norman Calder, was a businessman. But, I mean, they really don't go anywhere with that. Norman gets upset with her, saying, I don't want you near these people. I want you safe with me, or, are you going to die for these people, Jay? And then he just says, shit, he just walks away from her and says, shit. And he's like, I'm out of here. I mean, we don't know if Jay and Norman got divorced, but, that was like a side character thing. I would have loved to have more of Michael Rispoli, Gator Harris, Mike Rourke's friend in the film, but yeah, he was a main supporting character, but wasn't really fleshed out. Stan Olber was probably one of the best side characters they had fleshed out well. Like, Stan Olber was another side character, who was fleshed out well. He was probably one of the few of the other ones. Dr. J. Calder, that's another one. Jacqueline Kim's character. So, yeah, those few. So, I have to agree with that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, that was the positive review where it said the supporting cast are wallpaper thin. So that's one where I have to agree. Yeah, the supporting cast really doesn't have that much structure. But since I told you I'd give you one negative and one positive, the one not out there. The one positive review I liked was from February 28th, 2018, from David Anson from Newsweek, and I quote, Volcano, busily and cheerfully hysterical, always has something new, or some new fish to fry, new truck to melt, new skyscraper to tumble, or new manhole to pop, with a radiant gusher of movie magma. And I have to say, cheerfully hysterical and everything like that. Like, yeah, because everybody says you look at this movie, lava would not react this way, volcanoes would not react this way, but it was a fun disaster flick. So I can like what David Anson was getting at with the review here. I can agree with them on that. It's a very fun overall film. And more importantly for me, Volcano, this movie, is a fun film. I mean, it isn't top of the line fantastic. It isn't fully great. I mean, it's just a fun story trying to stop a volcano in a major city, one of the biggest major cities in the world. And, to me, it's very fun. The casting was great. I'll say the casting was decent. Tommy Lee Jones and, Keith David and Don Cheadle are great in this movie. The effects are pretty good for the time that they did. What they try to create, what they have with some of the supporting cast throw in are pretty funny, and you got like workers trying to save famous works of art, just doing banter. You got the black communities trying to come together, and there's still the problem, during this time with the police, and there's all those issues, which some of them are funny, some of them get pretty heated at times. But in the end, they all come together, which is awesome. You have just great effects in this movie that are awesome. And most importantly, probably the top thing about this film, a great score by Alan Silvestri. Great music by Alan Silvestri. Arguably, if you like nothing else in this film, you gotta love Alan Silvestri's score. Alan Silvestri's score is top of the line. Perfect. It is a great score for this movie and ultimately enjoyable. And I would give this film I give it a solid, probably would say 7, borderlining on 8 out of 10, because I really enjoyed this film. It's a fun movie, and you know, I can't hate on it that much. It's just a fun overall film, and I'm glad I own it. I still need to get Dante's Peak, which is the more realistic version of the Volcano films they produce, but you know, I have not gotten that yet, so I have to work on it. And the characters were a lot better in that movie too. So I mean, I've got to say, you know, just great stuff. But what do you guys think? Do you guys like Volcano? Is this a movie that you all enjoy, or did you hate this film? You know, just let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think, and I can't wait to get back to another film in the spoiler zone with you guys. So until then, this is 012 Boku coming at you in the spoiler zone, and I will see you guys again with another movie review in the spoiler zone. Deuces.